Hello, how are you?
I'm good.
Do you have makeup on today?
I do have makeup on today.
So guys, that was a piece from Friday where she's like, I don't want to come on because I have makeup on. Okay, I'm gonna come on anyways. And you look beautiful either way. So let's
Thank you.
just
I
start
appreciate
with that. Yes.
it. I did actually put my contacts in as well. I can see you better now. So
Okay, there you go. It's so funny that that line like I said it to you, but I have a friend who when she's working with new clients, whether it's Pilates or personal training, and people come in and say, I want to lose weight or I want to do this, I want to do that, she'll stop them dead in their tracks and be like, well, let's start here. You're beautiful already. Okay? Okay,
yeah,
good. Now that we understand that, what else do we want to work on?
exactly. I love that. I love that. That's
Yes.
perfect. Yes.
Mhm.
And yeah, because we come in, yeah, I mean, that's, we need to find out that we are beautiful as we are, right?
Yes.
We're all beautiful. We're all unique. And actually over COVID, the lockdown especially, I was raised by a very much of a southern mom. You know, you don't go out
Okay.
without makeup on,
Hmm.
and you don't go out without fixing your hair. And I learned to embrace the beauty in myself without my makeup,
Hmm.
without my contacts. And that was
Yes.
something that was huge for me.
Right.
And so, you know, coming on Friday was something I probably, without my makeup, in my glasses, without my hair washed, was something that, you know, like 10 years ago, would have been very difficult for me. But I'm like, you know what?
Yes.
It's okay. Cause you
Yeah.
know, this is who I am. And,
Right.
and I'm okay with that. And, you know, I may not be, you know, what I don't need to be
What you think you
what I think
should
I
be.
should be, yeah, or what, you know, what used to be perpetrated by, you know, models or magazines. We need to throw all of that away, right?
Absolutely.
That is not who we are. That is not
Hmm.
who we should embrace ourselves as. We are beautiful, whatever size, shape, you know, that we are. And I love that we are moving away from that now, and that we are
Yes.
understanding that that is not what's important. And
Right.
that is not what we need to worry about anymore, right?
Yeah. No, exactly. And then even as it's so funny, like, and that's not just a girl thing. And I really appreciate that my son's barber said that to the boys one time. We were talking like they're coming in for their
Mhm.
haircut. And amongst men, it's like, well, I'm gonna look good if my hair is grown too long, I'm gonna look good when I get that fade.
Right.
Right? So, and my barber of all people was like, listen, you look good already. Like, don't feel like as a
I love that.
boy that you're
Hmm.
gonna look good when you get this fade. After I cut your hair, you're gonna look good. You look good right now.
Yeah.
And I was like, when was the last time someone told black boys that you look good right now? Not
That's
when you
awesome.
get this clothes, not when you get this fade, not when you get this or get that, not when you acquire something. You in and of yourself are good. So I really
Exactly.
appreciated getting that message, from him to them because
That's
it's,
wonderful.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
refreshing to see that.
And I mean, that's so true with like, I mean, we need that to instill that in our children. One of my children is, you know, not as thin as one of my other children. And I, you know, I want her to never, ever, you know, think anything about that at all. You know,
Yes.
they're each beautiful and perfect in the way they are. And actually beyond that, my children have hand and or foot deformities. They,
Okay.
they are
Wow.
all, so they're all from China,
Hmm.
and they are, they came from the special needs lists. So they
Hmm.
had, um, two of them had banding syndrome. So when they were in utero, there were these bands wrapped around their hands, so their hands and feet didn't form correctly. So they're missing fingers and toes, and
Wow.
so they are, you know, their hands are not normal. They don't
Mm.
look normal to, you know, the average person, but their hands are beautiful, you know, in the way that they're formed, because that's who they are. And I think that
Yes.
that's what I want them to see, you know, and I want them to grow up and understand that they're beautiful as they are.
Yes.
And I love that. And then my son had what's called a hyperplastic thumb. His thumb had no bone in it. And so it was like floppy, and there was like nothing there. And so they actually did this really cool surgery where they took that bone, and I mean, they took his thumb off completely, and they moved his index finger into the place of his thumb. So he has like a opposable thumb now, but he's missing a finger here, but that's okay, because now he can grab things.
Yes. Yeah.
So that he's able to grab, because before he wasn't able to grab because he just had 4 fingers here and no thumb. But it's really cool. And he has a shortened radius bone as well, which makes it kind of hard for him to do like push-ups and stuff, but that's okay. He's learned how to do it. But
how old is he now?
What'd you say?
How old is he now?
He's 16 now.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So, you know, it's a little, he has, you know, it's a little bit harder for him because he's not level. So he had to kind of, you know, he has to do like, you know, it's a little off, but you know, he builds the muscles up in a different way, and he's had to learn how to balance that out. But, you know, they are beautiful, and they see themselves as complete and beautiful because they can do everything that anyone else can do. And they, and that's what we've been teaching them, you know, is that they are, it doesn't matter that, you know, who cares that you're missing a finger?
Yeah. Right. And there's a post I put that said, I am uniquely qualified. And I love that, because whatever makes us unique is what qualifies us for what we're going to be doing in our lives. Like we are designed, gifted, equipped for what we're called to do as we are.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Really good. So tell me more about your children. And this is a crazy story.
Yeah. So, so I have 3 children who came into our family through adoption. They are all from China. We actually kind of adopted out of birth order. So that's kind of unique and not the norm usually.
Okay.
But we have our first daughter that we adopted. She was 18 months old. She is, she's now 11. She actually just turned 11 last week.
Wow.
And she was our first adoption. So when we adopted her, we got, we kind of went with a young one, because I thought, oh, I want to start young and make it feel like, you know, I'm getting, you know, as close to a baby as I can to experience the, you know, that feeling of having a little one. So she was 18 months old, and, you know, you have to travel to China to actually, you know, pick them up, and you're in China for 2 weeks, and we go into a room in this hotel, and they bring this 18-month-old in, who of course can walk and is starting to talk. She doesn't, she was, you know, right at the language acquisition stage, but she's like running and racing around, and you know, you've never, I mean, whoa. Like, oh, okay.
Yes.
She races off and doesn't really understand what we're saying. So we're like, okay, here we go.
Here we go.
But she was a lot of fun. And you know, an 18-month-old is a fairly easy place from an adoption perspective to start, because she just needed us to provide her with her needs. And so she was like, oh, you're here. You're going to give me what I need. Great. Yes. I need food. I need you to care for me. It was a fairly easy transition. It was a good place to start. Okay. She's a lot of fun. She's joyful. She has a very outgoing personality. And I taught her how to speak English. So there's not really too much of like a language barrier. It was fairly simple. Okay. It seemed like, this is not so bad. I can do this.
I can see where the story's going.
Yeah. So so it's been about a year and a half, and my husband and I are like, well, should we adopt again? Yes, I think so. Our family doesn't seem complete. And we get emails from our adoption agency about other waiting children. And a lot of the emails are for older children. So we had chosen to go the special needs route. Grace has hand and foot deformities, a mild clubfoot, and then she's missing fingers and toes. And so we get all these emails from them about similar children and things like that. And the emails are coming through for different children and different things. And there's this one email that has a bunch of older boys on it.
Okay.
Which I had not been thinking was something that I was interested in. I was thinking, similar type, scenario as Grace. And my husband sends me this text that simply says, "I want him." And I'm like, what is he talking about? I was like teaching Pilates. I get this text from him. I'm like, what? So after I finish teaching, I look at my email and I see this email and I'm like, there's a 7-year-old boy in this email. Is that what he's talking about? Because me, 7-year-old boy, I don't know. That
different
sounds
language.
Scary. Doesn't speak English. So.
I meant the language of boy, not language like
Well, lots of reasons. Yeah, I was like, I don't know. So, we talked a lot about it and prayed about it. And we decided he was meant to be our son. So we travel again they're all from different places in China. He was actually from Shanghai, which was a lot of fun to visit. So we travel with Grace over there, and we get this 7-year-old boy. Well, actually, by the time we got him, he had just turned 8.
Okay.
And so he was 8, speaks only Mandarin. So, we can't really communicate with him. We're using Google Translate on our phones.
Yes.
To talk, show him. It was pretty difficult. And so at that point, I kind of stepped away from my job. And I tried to, worked with him a lot. I taught him English. And it takes a long time. Once you've passed 6, it's very difficult to learn a new language. It takes a lot of time. And he picked it up, obviously from the ability for us to converse, quicker than like I would have picked up Chinese, obviously, which I never did.
Yes.
Never picked up Chinese.
Yeah.
But he, it took him a lot longer to learn like reading and, writing in English, that kind of thing. And so, he has done amazingly well. And so I worked with him until he entered high school. So I homeschooled him to try and get him to the place where he could
adapt.
Be ready.
Adjust, right?
Yeah. And so he entered high school he's in 10th grade now. So he entered last year and he's doing really great.
Great.
And he's 16 now. So he's doing awesome.
Yeah.
But that was not a simple task. Taking in an older child is a lot harder. And as I mentioned, he had to have some surgeries on his hand and things like that. And so, there was a lot of, it was a journey with him, but it was good. And then we felt like there was still one person missing from our family. Yes. So that was our youngest child, Eva. And Eva was definitely our most difficult adoption. Still is. We're still working a lot with her. She was 4 when we adopted her. She is now 9. And so there are a lot of children from many different countries when adopted that when they're in the orphanages, they never are touched from birth. And so if a baby, think about your baby, when you get a baby, you hold them, you love on them, they're constantly with you. When they aren't touched and loved in that way as a baby, their brain does not develop in a way that understands love. Yes. And so when that happens, they have great difficulty understanding love and accepting love. And that is something that happened with her. And so
Wow. Yeah.
it's very hard for her to understand and accept love, not just from us, but from anyone, like friends
Right.
and teachers. So her perception of anything that if someone says something to her that seems, like they're, not understanding her, she doesn't know how to
It's a
react
threat.
like that. Yeah. And so over the COVID lockdown, she went kind of into a really bad tailspin. And that was actually kind of what started me to reflect a lot on, am I spending enough time at home? Am
Mm-hmm.
I, burning the candle at both ends? Some of those things that you were kind of talking about at the beginning. Am
Yes.
I, bringing not just to my clients, but even to my family, am I bringing, my best me, or am
Mm-hmm.
I just, coming home at the end of the day and
Yes.
sitting
Giving
on
them
the
the
couch and watching?
leftovers, right?
Yeah, is it the leftovers? And so what should I do? I think
Mm-hmm.
I need to make a change, because not just Eva, but Eva needs me. She's my youngest, but my whole family needs me. Anthony's 16. We've only had
Right.
him since he's 8. He is only going to be in the home for a little bit longer. But also, Grace needs me. I
Right.
can't just give everything to Eva
Mm-hmm.
and ignore other children. My husband needs me. My clients need the best side of me. My,
Yes.
Pilates teachers and training need the best part of me. So
Right.
what can I do? What,
Yes.
make, so I need to make a change. So I had been working for, a large corporate entity that took a lot of my time.
Mm-hmm.
And well, there were obviously things that happened as a result of COVID. We all got, uh,
Furloughed.
furlough. I was like, what's the word? Yes,
Yes.
thank you.
Yes.
Furloughed.
Yes.
I was like, there's a word for that. And that allowed us actually a lot of time to reflect, right, on
Mm-hmm.
what
What our
should,
priorities are. What's like,
what are
yeah.
my priorities? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Are there changes that I can make? And if I take control of my, own business, does that allow me to make better choices? That is allow me to, yes, it does.
Yes.
And so that's a big change that I have made this year. And it is
Amazing.
an amazing change. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a catalyst. I keep saying that word, but I mean, you think about it, like if if we didn't have this lockdown, you wouldn't have given as much thought to this thing that was kind of lingering in the back of your head. There was nothing to kind of push you over the edge.
Yep. Exactly. And
Yeah.
it was almost like, without this, yeah, exactly. Without COVID, I don't know. I needed something to push me
Hmm.
to make some hard choices. Yeah.
Yes. Right.
Yeah.
So what does that balance look like now?
So now I, have the ability to decide, am I going to do a training? Am I not going to do a training? I don't have someone saying, you have to do this many trainings at this, I can make
Yes.
that choice. I can
Hmm.
decide when I'm going to do them, which is also important to me. I can make
Yes.
decisions about the times of day. I can do it, around, times that make more sense for my family. I
Right.
can take, it's easier to take vacation or take time off. I can decide how many, clients I want to have.
You're making this sound really attractive for people out there. Like, wait a minute.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And frankly, just even being able to be on Zoom, and
Hmm.
I feel like that allows me a lot more flexibility. And I like doing online stuff. I enjoy that. And that
Yes.
also allows me a lot more flexibility. And then I can do, like, I group, people together, and that
Yes.
makes it easier, right? Because I
Right.
can, do, a larger group or things like that. And I'm also not driving as much either, which is
Right.
nice.
Exactly. And that's a huge stressor sometimes, depending on where
Mhm.
you live and what your commute looks like.
Mhm.
So,
Yep.
are you still connected with Peak and doing their teacher training programs right now,
Yes.
or are you kind
So
of formulating your own?
Yes. I'm a Peak master instructor. So I've been with Peak. I've always been a part of Peak. And so that's who I do my teacher training with, is with Peak. And so I'll just be doing it in smaller groups out of my home. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, perfect.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What kind of mentoring do you have or connections with your past students? Like, do you have anything formal, or is it just like you just kind of make yourself available to them? Is there a
I
formal?
make myself available to them, but I actually have, I love mentoring. It's something that I very much enjoy. So I have some ideas for developing some things in the future that are like a little bit more, you know, like a course type style that I've thought
Yes.
about working and putting together to help them. But I'm
Hmm.
always talking with them, and, you know, they come and, you know, ask me questions. I'm always, you know, happy to work with them. I teach some of them classes and things like that, but I'd like to kind of develop an actual mentoring program for
Okay.
students who have completed their you know, certifications, and just
Sure.
with them and help them, you know, as they move forward, finding their own Pilates voice. There's so much great information out there, so
Yes.
many different ways that we can, you know, learn and grow, and so many awesome options. And I'd like to kind of walk with people on that continued journey and help point them to some really great other options and trainings and things, so
Right.
that they can continue to grow and learn and find their own niche, you know. And
Absolutely.
yeah.
Well, I've been thinking about that since Friday when I said that. And for those who didn't catch that soundbite from Friday, I was saying that I took a class, like a interest course when I was younger, and it was really like the lady had a dance background, so it was very kind of sing-songy,
Mm-hmm.
and the way she taught it, and like the Pilates felt amazing, but I didn't feel like I would ever teach it because I just didn't have that rhythm and that kind of flow, right?
Yeah.
And not that it was wrong, and I think I need to clarify. Like, I didn't feel it was wrong. I just felt like
Right.
that just wasn't my style. And
Right.
then when I took a course later on, and it was Pam Garcia was teaching it,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a little bit more direct. And like we said, there's more of an economy of words, and it seemed more direct and more to the way that I was doing personal training already. That showed me that teaching is something that I can do in Pilates, first of all,
Mm-hmm.
and then that informed my voice. So now I don't teach like either of them,
Right.
but
Exactly.
it really did inform the way that I chose to teach. I want to have a little more of a style like that. I don't want to have a style like this. And then I've heard and taught from other people, and I'm forever just pulling little pieces from everybody to find, like you said, my voice in Pilates.
Exactly. And so, I mean, that's what's so important, is that each one of us has to find our own voice, right? And there are
Yes.
so many amazing teachers out there, and so many amazing workshops and trainings and things that you can go, you know, beyond your foundation to learn
Yes.
and grow. And I just think, yeah, I'd like to kind of walk with people on that journey,
Yeah.
and you know,
That's awesome.
it's neat. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Bridge Pilates blossoms on here right now. And when we had our
Yes.
conversation, she was saying that, like Kathy Grant saying to her, like, you can't be me.
Yeah. Exactly.
You
Yep.
know,
Love
my
that.
my football coach used to say it this way. He goes, men, you got to be your own man.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And what he meant by that is, like, not every one of you can be the fastest, not every one of you can be the strongest, not everyone can be the biggest hitter. You have to find who you are on this team and be your own man in that way, right? And find the thing that you're respect. And I've taken that through whatever it is I'm doing, whether it's personal training, being the TRX guy, or Pilates and being, the guy that works with men and introduce, like, you want to find your voice and be your own man, be your own woman in your space.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very
Yeah.
true.
Yeah. So let's continue to unpack what your mentoring program would look like. What do you see? What do you think are some of the gaps in this teacher training continuum after someone has graduated from a course?
Um, I think um, I think some things that would be beneficial once people go beyond. Some of it I think would be beneficial. Some business aspects, like I'd like to cover how, like, you have a new person walk into your studio. Um, how do you kind of close them? like when they first come in. So how do you introduce Pilates to them and then close it? And then how do you retain them as a client?
Yes.
And then also beyond that, looking at, I have X number of clients every month. There's going to be clients who leave. And so how do I manage my business in that perspective? So some of it's a little bit business type stuff, right? Yeah, so this is coming from my 11 years working for kind of a, running like a Pilates studio. So if I have a bunch of clients and I know that I'm going to lose clients, how do I keep managing my business and know I'm going to lose some people? So how do I keep my business afloat and bring business back in, knowing I'm going to lose business and kind of break even every month? Thinking about things like that, because I think those are things that are, beneficial. Just even as new instructors, kind of thinking through that. And then I think, just sitting down with them and talking about what are things that interest you? What do you want to focus on next? So like you're going to continue to grow. So let's think about what might be the next thing that you want to study, because there's a plethora of options out there. So we can't do it all. So let's look at what might be the next thing you want to study, because one thing that you don't want to do once you finish your training is to do nothing, right?
Yes.
Because we want to continue to grow. And so I also think it's important that you as an instructor take classes yourself, because I've seen a lot of, some of, my instructors, they just, once they're done, they're like, okay, I'm never taking, classes ever.
I'm
we want
done.
to continue, right? We want to continue to grow. And now what's awesome is there's so many people we can actually take online lessons from.
Absolutely.
So let's take some on, let's find some awesome people that we can take lessons from. There's some amazing online lessons. Let's start signing up and taking some,
Absolutely. Yep.
And so, maybe I can put together kind of like a compilation of everyone who's offering classes. And then we, take a look at that and we kind of pick some of that out. And then we look at what's the next thing we're going to learn. And then, that kind of thing. What special, special population are you interested in? And then we find some people teaching continuing ed on that.
Yes, on those specialties. Right, exactly.
Those kinds of things. And so that they continue to grow and actually learn and can move forward with their clients and their practice. And then, of course, I'll be there as they're working with clients to, just answer questions that they have and things like that as well. I'd like to, maybe do monthly, Zoom calls with the people that are signed up, where we can just, I can answer questions that they bring and things like that. I'm still kind of fleshing it all out, but
I know there's a lot out there, and
there's a lot of things. So
and if you think about it, it's almost like a doctor, where you come out, you're a generalist, and then you may say, okay, I want to become this type of doctor, or this type of doctor, or this type of doctor, and then you narrow down to a specialty, and you're still capable of treating everybody, but you're now flowing in your area of passion.
Exactly. Yeah,
it's good. I have another story for you.
Yes.
I told you the Pam Garcia story last time.
Yeah.
This was not as funny, but it did make me think about something we were saying, planning your business. And I journal, like I'm writing stuff down like all the time, like that's just what I do. And I was maybe a couple years ago, it was like one of those days when I was running my business, and I had a day where I had like no clients at all. And I was sitting in a Starbucks or something at Tim Hortons, and I was just writing down, and I was kind of like worried in the sense like, hey, I have no clients today, not sure what I'm doing, not making that much money right now. And it's kind of this woe is me journal, right? And it just so happened, it was like, I remember it was October, because I flipped back in my journal, which I don't usually do. But at this one time, I flipped back to like October from the year before, and my journal entry was like, today is a great day. I have no clients. It gives me an opportunity to plan my day. It gives me an opportunity to plan my business. I'm so grateful for just a moment to breathe.
Nice.
And it was so interesting that that was the ebb and flow of my business, where that time is when people are going off to school or whatever it is. So like I never have clients at that time, but it's just my perspective was different.
Yeah.
So by taking some time to journal it down and taking some time to plan my business, it kind of changed my perspective, right? And it's the exact same time of year, almost to the day. And one year I was worried, and the next year and the year before I was excited. And both times I had no clients at all that day.
That's funny. Yeah. Yeah. Just how our perspective can change. Yeah. Well, did that encourage you then? Did it change your perspective to read that? And
Oh
and
yeah.
you move forward with the rest of that day then?
Oh yeah, the rest of the day
Yeah.
was great, because it's like,
Good.
okay, sweet. So this is what I do with this day. I get to
Yeah.
plan the next couple of days. I can do more demos now. I could reach out to those people. I can go through my old text messages and see
Yep.
who I never followed up with. Like I can start to just chase down these people instead of sitting here having a pity party.
Yeah.
I can actually be productive with it, right? Like,
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah,
Awesome. I
yeah,
love that. So
yeah.
journaling can be really beneficial, see, because we can look back and encourage ourselves.
Right,
I love that.
exactly. Yeah, I mean that's the thing, right? I mean, I don't know about you, but like in that whole piece of journaling, I used to be so scared to go back in my journals. Like
Yeah.
it's just I just write it down and kind of just capture all of my thoughts in my head and put them to paper, and then just like close the book and never look at it again.
Yeah.
But I've just like over the last couple of years, it's courage. I feel like I just finally got the courage to look back on how I was feeling or what I was saying at that time, because it was like a weakness thing. It was like it was ugly at times. I didn't want to go back and look at
Mm-hmm.
those pieces, because I'm like, oh, I'm better now, so I don't need that anymore. But it's like it provides perspective, and that's just like on a personal level. But then I do it for my business as well. Like, and you just realize how that becomes part of your proper business planning. As weird as it sounds, your personal journals.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think, yeah, I mean, to me, looking back on my, just my journey isn't always encouraging, because I can see how far I've come, and I can learn from mistakes that I've made, and I can see how I've grown, and that's encourages me, and in helps me as I move forward,
Yeah. Yes.
always. I mean, and so to me, I think that's awesome, Martin, that you have that you actually journal. I don't journal as much as I should, but that should be something that I start in the new year.
I know. Or today, like even
Or
like
today, yeah.
why wait, right?
Why
Like
wait? I should start it today. You're right.
yeah, yeah.
I love that.
Just throwing that out there. Um, how many of you guys out there journal? Just out of curiosity, those in the
Yeah.
comment section. And while you're answering that, I just want to go back. I saw so many comments flying through, so I just wanted to make sure that I hit them. So Tara said, Suzanne, you're inspiring on so many ways. It is such a blessing to know you, to be friends with you, Pilates professionals with you, and business partners with you.
Thank you, Tara.
Tara also commented on the catalyst piece too.
Mm-hmm.
And then Nat also says, you've also been a catalyst in bringing people in without agenda, pretty much with love and connection in mind.
Thank you.
And
Natalie, that's actually Natalie.
that is Natalie. Okay.
Yeah.
And yes, there's room enough to be your own you. Love that line.
Mm-hmm.
And yes.
Yeah.
So bringing people in without agenda. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
So I just think it's really important that, we, when we, especially when we bring people together, when we're starting someone's starting anything new, like a Pilates training, I think is one thing that she might be referring to.
Okay.
That, we're coming together, and we're open to learning and growing together and moving forward. Yes. And we are,
That's a really good one.
I mean, everyone has a unique place, and everyone comes in with a unique perspective and from a unique place. And you know, I love everyone from where they come from and where they are, and we're going to move forward, and I'm going to walk through everyone with their own journey. And, you know, everybody's journey is going to be unique, and,
Yes.
And it's going to be different, and it's going to be special. And I think that that's awesome. And I really enjoy helping people find their unique journey, whatever it looks like. And,
Yes.
and it's going to be, you know, different and special. And
Absolutely.
that is what I loved about like adoption, because each of my children had a special journey that was unique to them. My journey was special, from infertility, which was really, really difficult,
Yes.
to getting to the place where I understood that adoption was the right plan for me and moving forward with that. The same is true with Pilates. You know, people will have a unique journey, and they can't look at the person next to them and think, I'm going to move just like that person, or I'm going to, you know, teach just like that person. No, you have your own unique journey. So
Yes.
we can't come in with agendas. We can't come in with, you know, we're each, you know, our own person. And I think that's really important that we understand that in anything that we do. Anyway,
Yes.
I don't know.
Absolutely.
That's what comes to mind when I think of
That's pretty good.
that.
No, that's exactly it. And you know, it's funny because that reminds me of when Philip Griffin was on, who also adopted children.
I think you
And
mentioned him. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and it was interesting because he didn't open with that. Like he didn't mention that as something that defines who he is. Like he deserves this badge of honor because he adopted kids. These are his kids.
Exactly. Yeah.
This is his family. And I heard you were very careful with your wording too. And you're very intentional with your wording with that, in that it's like this isn't something that's about me,
Mhm.
nor about, you know, I mean, there's so many different pieces in that, but everyone has their own journey, respecting that journey. And even within, you know, Pilates, as we bounce between Pilates and adoption, as
They're my
you're,
two passions, so I can.
yeah, exactly. They're married. In that same way, when you're raising your apprentices or the people that are your training, you're not just trying to make carbon copies of yourself.
No. Yeah. Absolutely not. Yeah, that's not the point.
Right.
Please
Yes.
do not be like me.
Don't be like me. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And you know, so as you said, like we're finding our own voice and finding our words, and we're finding those different things. And you know, it's sad to say that it's not always the case, but I do love hearing when teachers say, I want my students to be better than me.
Oh, absolutely. That's funny that you say that, because I was literally just thinking that my job is to make that person in front of me the absolute best teacher that they can be. I should never withhold anything from them of myself, any information, any knowledge. And it's sad when I hear people say that they felt like knowledge was withheld from them or things were withheld from them, because that is not my job. My job is to make them the best.
The best, right?
The best. And if they're better than me, that is amazing and awesome. And you know, that's what I want. And
Absolutely.
you know, but anyway, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's exactly it. Like they should be standing on our shoulders as they're moving forward, right? So how do we
Absolutely.
equip them to do that? I think your mentoring program is going to be fantastic.
Thank you. I hope so. I mean, it's going to take a little time, but we'll get there.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
yeah, and I love feedback and help from others. So as well.
yes,
So any
yes.
ideas that you or anyone else has, send it my way.
Yo, I'm the same way, man. Like, you know, what's that saying? Like, you'll never be able to tell how far you go when you don't care who gets the credit,
Mm-hmm.
right? And when you surround yourself with the right people, like I think of even like Heather Erdman's doing her workshop this week on like ethics, for
Mm-hmm.
example, and
Yes.
she does all kinds of workshops on these things that like we don't think about, but when we surround ourselves with people like that are so good in those little corner parts of this Pilates world, we come out with just a full polished product.
Absolutely.
And we equip people to be so amazing at what they do, whether it's whether they're going to be a studio owner or independent contractor or whatever it is they want to do. Whatever they're called to do, they'll excel at it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I saw someone mention something about a journal.
Oh yes,
Because we
Jason.
asked about that. I can't remember who it was.
Jason with Charm City PT. He's a guy, Frankie Fitness. He wrote the children's book.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So he said, he's journals sometimes. Great manifestation tool.
Mm.
Need to do it more.
Yes. I need to do it more too.
Yeah. Feeling this conviction, like I'm just not doing this enough.
Yeah.
And it's funny he says great manifestation tool. Like, I mean, yeah, I never really thought of it that way, but I know that when I have things swirling around in my head, like that's how I capture it, put it on paper, and
Mm-hmm.
then I can distill all of these thoughts into like maybe one or two things I really am chasing after, or two things I really have been chasing after to really focus in,
Yeah.
or even to look back and be like, okay, that just fell in my lap, but I've been writing about that for a year. Like, okay, I should say yes to this opportunity because I've actually been looking for this opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah. Very good.
Yeah, very cool.
I actually have had my eye on a set of journals that someone I follow who does Instagram tips. Her name is Shailene Johnson, has been hawking these like journal sets. And
Yes.
it's funny that you bring that up because just yesterday I was like, maybe I should get these and journal in them. So maybe this is like, and this is another sign.
Yeah, I know,
That I
right?
need to do that.
Yes. Yeah, dollar store works for me, but if that's what's gonna get you going, like, yes. Nice. So at this point, you have made all these pivots. You're in your home, you're taking care of people, you're taking care of family, you're taking care of yourself. What is your message for our people out there and for the people that you're training right now?
I would say my message right now is, well, this is my favorite time of the year. Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday.
Okay.
So I have been doing a little gratitude challenge this month where I'm posting something I'm grateful for every day.
Oh,
And
nice.
so I think this is the time of year that we can really focus on the things that we're grateful for. So that has really been my challenge to myself and to anyone, is that we spend this time right now finding the things that we're really truly grateful for and carrying that forward, and focusing on that as we go through this whole holiday season. What are we grateful for? And because there's many things to be grateful for, right? I mean, we have our family, we have our friends, we have our clients, we have our businesses, we have homes, we have food, we have hopefully, our health, and that we will stay healthy. And there's just so many wonderful things we have. For those of us here, we have Pilates,
Yes.
which is something that, I think we all can come around and love and appreciate. And so that's something that I'm really been thinking a lot about. And I would like to just kind of leave with everyone that graciously joined us today, is that this is an awesome time to really reflect on that. And even though this has been a tough year, it's been a tough year. But even within this tough year, there have been some awesome things that have happened. Like I was talking about earlier, without the COVID quarantine, I wouldn't have taken that time to really reflect and make some huge changes in my own life. And so I'm grateful for that. And I'm not grateful for, COVID, but I'm just grateful for the opportunity to slow down and think and and reflect and recognize that I needed to spend more time with my family and to change. And this change is going to be good. So going into 2021, it may still be, you know, there's still going to, you know, be some difficulties, I think, with us, you know, having to, you know, maybe sometimes still quarantine ourselves and things like that. But
Right.
that's okay.
Yeah.
There's lots of opportunities for growth, and you know, us to continue to move forward. We have all these great opportunities to connect with our Pilates family across the world,
Yes.
and we can continue
Absolutely.
to do that. So
Yeah.
another thing I'm grateful for. So that's my
Amen to
message.
that. Nice. So good. Well, thank you so much for joining me today and
Absolutely. Thank you for
for joining
having
me
me.
last Friday too. That was so fun.
Yes. And I realized that we never said my name.
Oh my
And
God.
that's okay. I will say it because my name is kind of hard to say. It's Suzanne Meledeo.
There you go.
It's a little bit difficult to say. It's an Italian last name. You can thank my husband for that. My name used to be Spencer, which is easy to say.
Oh, nice.
So then 20 years ago, we've been married for 20 years, I took on the name Meledeo. So there you go.
There you go. It flows. I like it.
It does flow. Yeah, it does flow. It's kind of fun. But thank
Yes.
you so much, Martin. I really, really appreciate getting the opportunity to chat with you. It's been a lot of fun. And thank you. Yeah.